know, babies.
It's always a fart.
Yeah, it's a great guessing game because you don't know who did it.
Always a fart. It's always a fart. That'll be our next podcast. It's always a fart.
It's not a bad name.
Endless possibilities on that one.
Yep. Yep. Speaking of endless possibilities, what do you say we start the show? The Simple Mind Sports Show, latest and greatest in New England sports. We're going to do some opening takes. Bobby, why don't you kick us off with your mystery opening take? Seeing as you didn't bother to respond to my fucking text message. Go ahead.
The mystery is, let's just talk about the divisional round here real quick. These AFC matchups, I don't know. They don't do it for me. Jags, Chiefs, it's a bit of a bore. The Bills-Bengals rematch, can't wait for that. Ultimately, I'm just rooting for the Bills to get to the Super Bowl and ultimately lose to whichever NFC team gets there. NFC teams, they'll be exciting to watch these games. 49ers, Cowboys, that'll be fun. But AFC, I don't know. It's not doing it for me this year. This playoffs, though, so far, I don't know. I'm not feeling it right now.
You're not looking for Heart Attack Gate 2.0? Bengals, Bills?
Too soon.
Sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
Ray, your opening take.
Yes, I am going to go with the two teams that play at the Garden because both of them are first place in their respective leagues, and yet there's still trade rumors galore going on right now. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Basically, don't touch these teams. I mean, you got basic depth problems that you need in this league for the NBA. You want to roll with this because injuries are bound to happen. Do not give away huge assets for, one player. No, you need depth because that's what happened last year when we were in the finals and we were all injured and we didn't have healthy squads going. So please, the Garden guys, don't fucking trade anyone. Just keep this shit rolling, please.
Such a dumb take. What do you think they're going to give up?
I've seen some reports that there's a lot of shit like Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and
no, you haven't. The latest report was Peyton Pritchard is off the block because the Warriors are interested and they don't want to trade him yet because of the depth that they have in the injury problems. They're not going to trade shit. They're going to trade the biggest thing you'll see walk out of the Celtics locker room is Sam fucking Hauser. That's it. That's the most that they're going to move for some guy that's going to be a wing piece to get him for the regular season. Bruins, on the other hand, Bo Harvard or Havart or Havitt or however the fuck you pronounce his name from the Canucks, he might take a little more. If he takes DeBrusk, that's your big piece you're talking about off the Bruins, and I'm okay with that. Bye-bye, Jake DeBrusk for Bo Harvard. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that.
That'd be the
They're not going to break
for the
anything
Canucks either. Why would you trade for someone that has a broken leg?
DeBrusk?
Yeah,
he's back in 3 weeks. God damn it, Ray. Fucking all right. I'm going to go to my opening take.
God, tonight.
God, wait, what are you talking about?
Penny,
DeBrusk is back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well, it's hockey. I forgot. Like they just fucking sew it up, throw some dirt on that, and they're fucking good to go.
It's exactly what you want out of everybody.
Nah,
you want Glass Gordon after he shattered his fibula and tibula.
He's a
into
pussy.
He's a pussy. He's a pussy. I don't think any of those guys are trading anything big. Bruins and Celtics are not trading anything of significance off their team. They will make trades though, because they should. Because when you're a title contender, you should add. You should always add. Always. For the reason you're saying, for depth. That's what they'll do. The going back to the Patriots, we haven't talked much about the Patriots. Bobby talking football. The offensive coordinator search is well underway for the Patriots. A lot of names, lots of names coming out. Big old list there. Patriots camp, and that smells fishy to me. Something doesn't sit right. Something does not sit right. O'Brien was in the building today. They got Keenan McCardell tomorrow. Sean Jefferson. The likes of Adrian Clem. I mean, I have some theories.
Oregon, the offensive assistant or something from Oregon.
Yeah, and hey, newsflash: Bill Belichick's first ever draft pick for the Patriots.
You know what it sounds like? After an exhaustive search for offensive coordinator, we've decided to promote Matt Patricia.
We decided our best solution is in-house, rolling it back. Something like that, Bobby. I don't know about Matt Patricia, but something like that. Something is fishy in the water here. We can get into that and everything that comes with that offensive coordinator search, including your opinion on what the best choice would be of that list. We'll get back to that super wildcard weekend, which just the name annoys me. Super wildcard weekend.
They
Come
threw
on.
that
Have a
out there
team and
all
call
the
it
time.
super.
It was terrible. That was terrible.
God, dude, how much did ESPN get paid to push that fucking name? That's all I heard. Super wildcard weekend.
Super.
This will be fun. I want to do the best and the worst of the 2022 Patriots. And Ray, if your entire worst segment is just Mac Jones, you will be not just muted. I will kick you out. I'm not in the mood today to deal with the fucking fupa. All right. I'm not in the mood to deal with the old Christmas sale fupa today. So better come someone with better than just Mac Jones. Best and worst of the 22 Patriots. Celtics and their big daddy. They're playing the Warriors today behind me. What does that mean? And a couple Celtics thoughts and simplest minds of the week. Some good candidates there. This is the Simple Minds Sports Show. Friday Rewind. I don't have a calendar for 2023. I have no idea. It's
January
the 19th today.
20th. January 20th.
It's the thank you. January 20th. So I was pretty close. Welcome to the show.
I got something troubling on my mind. I got something troubling on my mind. I got something floating out of
Don't give the excuse you don't have a fucking calendar. Top right corner, bro.
That's true. I always forget about that. I get wrapped up. I try to make it, Ray, I'm sorry for yelling at you before. That was
No,
just.
you're not. You're gonna yell more.
I'm
So
not.
whatever.
It was just really fucking dumb take. If you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. If you're watching on any other platform, congratulations to you. We only release it on YouTube, so if you got the video, then you're hacking.
That means they
into
hacked us, you fuckers.
Yeah. If you're
And you
listening
low.
anywhere else, we are the
Yeah.
number one New England sports radio show on iHeart and a self-proclaimed number one show on iTunes. So kudos to us on both fronts. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're hacking, just leave a review, leave a rate, leave a review. Tell your friends, and as always, tell your mothers, and tell them to drink W Energy. That's W.GG. That's the hottest, latest energy drink on the market right now. W Energy Drink, W.GG. Go to their website, type in promo code Simple Minds for 15% off all your orders. W Energy Drink. All right. Patriots offensive coordinator search. I smell a rat. Smells fishy. Like I said, Bill O'Brien was in there today. Keenan McCardell is scheduled to do an interview at some point. Nick Cayley, the internal candidate. Adrian Clem, we talked about. Sean Jefferson, one-time Patriots wide receiver. All of these guys have relations to Bill. Either played for him, coached with him, one thing or another. I have my theories on this. Anyone else want to theorize why we are getting such an exclusive list of what seemed to me to be mostly underqualified candidates, all strapped to the ball sack of Bill Belichick? Thoughts?
Because if he can't have the fat fupa skinny Ray next to him, he needs to have another friend next to him. So these guys are all meet that criteria, just not fat enough though. Well,
Bill only wants what makes him comfortable. He said that. Same old, same old.
I think that certainly a lot of that's true, but I think if you look around the league, that happens everywhere. People aren't collecting resumes of unknown offensive
Part of the
coordinators on other teams. They're just bringing people along that they've worked with before, or somebody else has worked with that they know. I think this is a fuck you to Kraft. I think this is a massive public fuck you to Bill Kraft, to Robert Kraft. And here's why. Robert Kraft, after the debacle that was the Patricia experiment that failed, brought Bill in. By the reports, seemingly Bill said, you know what, I know I fucked up and I know we have to change this, but look, Bill Belichick's not stupid. Anyone that's been in a little bit of trouble before knows it's better to get ahead of it and then kind of trying to play catch up behind the scenes. That's the conversation I think that went down in Robert's office. I know, didn't work. I got to do something better. And then Kraft said, I know you do, and here's what we're going to do. You're going to hold interviews for offensive coordinator next week. Normally your vacation week, Bill. No. You're going to hold interviews, and we're going to make it public who you're talking to. So Bill said, okay, fuck you. I'm going to interview everybody. Everybody who's not technically qualified that I can get my hands on that might return a phone call from me. You're coming in to interview and sing it to the world, Robert. All of these fucking people are coming in. I'm doing your bidding. Here you go, Robert. Here you go, doing your bidding. Everybody coming in to interview, and the only guy that actually matters was a week and a half late in Bill O'Brien that probably already has the job. Honestly, I just think it's too None of these guys are qualified. Not one of them has even worked with a quarterback besides O'Brien. None of them are getting calls from anywhere else in the NFL except for Belichick. And there's no
Kaylee maybe.
Sorry?
Kaylee is. I think Kaylee also.
Kaylee's interviewing with the Jets, which is the only
Jets
reason
don't
he interviewed
count.
with the Patriots.
They don't count.
Yeah.
The only reason he got an interview with the Patriots, which he didn't last year, is because he's interviewing with the Jets. And that's another fuck you in return to the Jets from Bill. I think Bill Belichick works almost exclusively in fuck yous these days. So it wouldn't surprise me if this was just a big up yours to the craft.
I think it's
you
also
do
an
it
up yours
publicly,
to the
no
NFL.
problem.
He thinks the whole process is fucking dumb too, because it is. Because basically you're forced to have these sham interviews. The whole thing with the Rooney Rule creates sham interviews. Like I think it's a good thing to try and get these minority exposures, but they should do it through a different thing, through like some sort of networking. Because just like you're saying, these guys are getting interviews because they're already in a network with Bill Belichick. They know him. So if they created some other type of networking opportunities that these candidates could meet people that make these hires, then maybe they could get calls in situations that matter because they actually already know him.
Because also going through that list, like who's a quarterback guru on that list other than Bill O'Brien? That's the biggest problem. Is he's someone that can actually help and work with Mac if he's going to be the quarterback next year to make him comfortable and excel in the process. Bill O'Brien's the only one. I mean, Doug Marrone, no. Keenan McCardell, he was a wide receiver. Nick Haley, maybe. Adrian Klemm, no. Big offensive lineman guy. And then Sean Jefferson, also a wide receiver. So who's one of those guys that is coming in there and be like, yep, I can fix Mac Jones? That should be like the first thing. Like, I can fix this offense and make Mac Jones the Pro Bowl player that he should be.
Hence the rat in the room. I think the job is O'Brien's. Tommy
Signed, sealed, and
Curran.
delivered already, pretty
If
much.
those are the choices, he's the only viable choice.
Tommy Curran reported last week that it would be a major upset if he didn't get the job. He checks all the boxes. We don't have to review him, but quickly, he is from the system. He is comfortable with Belichick. The Crafts like him. There are reports that around that Garoppolo time frame, they almost pushed Belichick out and kept Brady and brought Bill O'Brien to be the head coach. So there's that going on. And to Ray's point, and to what we raised earlier, none of these guys are fucking qualified to be the offensive coordinator of the Patriots right now. To Bobby's point, they're all shams. However, I'll dial back my hyperbole a little bit on the FU to Robert. If Belichick knows that it's mostly somebody's job, probably Bill O'Brien's, and he's using this to pump up his guys' names, all right, Belichick does do that very often. He pumps up his guys and gets them notoriety around the league and tries to increase their stock. He does his people right. That's why Matt Patricia got the offensive coordinator job for New England. So if you want to take a little bit of a silver lining out of that, of a Bill Belichick's a nice guy, then maybe you can take that. But mostly, yeah, the Rooney Rule has become kind of, it's kind of fallen backwards on itself because people don't treat it the way it's supposed to be treated. I don't know if that's the case here, Bobby, because you got a couple African Americans on the list. They're just Bill's guys that he's pumping up, and I don't think any of them had a chance at OC. However, you may have a chance at an Adrian Klemm coming in to coach the offensive line. Maybe Keenan McCardell does a horizontal move to wide receiver coach if you give him a little bit more money, give him an assistant coaching position title, something like that. There has been talk that this group of people who have all basically worked together at one point or another through Kevin Bacon symbiosis, that they might be putting a squad together here. You need a offensive line coach, you need a quarterbacks coach, and you need an OC. If you can pull off Bill
They're
O'Brien,
squadding up.
they're squadding up. Regulators,
Yep.
mount up. If you can pull off a Bill O'Brien, Doug Marrone's name's getting passed around. Like I said, Keenan McCardell,
Dream
Adrian
team's getting
Klemm.
back together.
You're
Here we
the
go.
Real quickly, do you remember the Regulators back in high school? That car group. Every time I hear that song, I just giggle.
yeah.
I haven't heard that song since high school. When was the last time that you've been listening to Warren G?
Oh, it's been a while. I think
Warren
when
G
he
comes
died,
in
did he
comes
die?
into my life more regularly than you'd think.
No, Nate Dogg died. Or Warren G's still alive, yeah?
Warren G to the.
So hold on, you mean that group doesn't exist? They're done? I thought that they were still mounting up.
No more spoilers.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yep.
All right. Any other thoughts on this? Your impression on that list? I know you just said Bill O'Brien's the only real qualified player, but if they were to take a grouping of those 2-3 guys and put them on your offense, let me give you this: if Nick Caley walks to the Jets, is that a big brain drain from you? Do you want full autonomy from Bill O'Brien to come in here, hire his own coaches? What's your just give me your final thoughts on the OC search here.
I'll go quickly. Bill O'Brien should be the guy. Obviously, I hope he does bring his own squad in. And I think the Patriots had like the smallest coaching group last year. They had like usually you have 18 guys, and I think there's only like 9.
Traditionally, they have a small staff. Yeah.
Yeah, but they eliminated it and made it even smaller.
Traditionally, Ray also has a small
staff. There you go. You should have just kept going with that.
Historically, yeah.
Historically, it started small, stayed small.
Yeah, so I hope they're just bringing in, like you're saying, like Warren G says, mount up, boys, because you just get the squad back together. So yeah, absolutely.
Are you watching the game? Are you distracted? Are you watching the Celtics game?
No.
Fuck you. Your eyes are on the other or off the.
He's
definitely.
He's out.
He's definitely watching the game.
No, I'm not. I swear.
Bobby, final thoughts on the Patriots OC search as we stand today, January 19th, as it says in my top right corner.
I mean, I don't think losing Nick Caley would be a big thing. I mean, he's the tight ends coach. I mean, we don't know what he contributes. Hasn't done anything with our key signing tight end, so I don't think he's done that great at getting Jonnu Smith up and running. So I don't know if he can't do that, I don't know if I want him running my offense. I just don't know anything about these other guys. If this is it's Bill Bryan, or it's somebody that we don't even. That wouldn't excite anybody, and it would just be him basically bringing in, for lack of a better term, a puppet offensive coordinator, and Bill would be the offensive coordinator.
And we saw how that worked. Keaton McCardell is probably the next close. He's been coaching for 10 years, but he's never held a play sheet. He's never coached a quarterback, so even that's a stretch. All right, that's your offensive coordinator update. We'll see. It seems like something's coming fast, but even maybe by the time this gets out on Friday, we might even have a decision. Honestly, reading some of the tea leaves, maybe they'll wait to next week, but I think they're going to move pretty quickly on this one.
Well, doesn't it have to, because the draft and the combine, all that stuff's coming up real fast?
You'd think if a guy like Bill O'Brien is coming in, they're going to give him some say in who he wants to coach, and certainly they have some holes to fill and some corrections to make. So, we'll see. Sort of in the headlines with the obvious one.
Thank you there, Richard. The Bruins have 0 quit. Currently on a 3-game winning streak as we record this, and a league best 74 points. They are at the Rangers tonight, and the Bruins are favorites.
Pep, Raymond. Can I get a little pep out of you tonight?
Minus
you're very
115.
fucking down, all right?
All right, yes.
You're
Sorry,
usually
Richard.
giggly. You're usually jolly. This is what you're here for. This is what the foop is here for, all right?
You're
jolly.
Talk about
Smack
the text
that
exchange
fucking
that you
poop
He
up.
couldn't get out of
asses
work
are doing.
early today.
Yes.
Okay, he
Give
got
us a
forced
little
to
bit
stay
of jolly.
late,
Let's
and
see those
yes.
goddamn pearly whites.
All right,
Bruins
there,
have no.
Richard.
The Bruins have no quit. No, the Bruins have no
Have
quit.
no
I'm
quit.
fat. Go ahead, do your thing.
All right, the other team that plays at the Garden is rolling with a 7-in-a-row game winning streak as we record.
There we
go. Also, I started.
Do it to
There you
the
go.
point you can't read. Thank you.
All right, and also a league best 33-12. They are playing the Golden State Warriors Thursday at the Garden with Jaylen Brown day to day with an abductor injury. Even with Jaylen questionable, they are favorites at -6.5. The Red Sox signed something called Adam Duvall at 34 years old. He played for the Braves last year with an average of .213. Also, do you guys remember the music teacher, Mr. Duvall? Was he the guy that watched Mr. Holland's Opus and cried and wept in the back?
Yeah, that's right.
Was that him? All right. And also
No,
Miss Oliver.
It's hard to remember that because Miss Oliver was such an overshadowing figure as a
figure.
music teacher.
Calling Miss Oliver's class a music class is a disgrace. I don't know what that class was.
Amazing is what you're trying to say, Bobby.
It was
No.
a don't eat cake class.
No. And lastly, the Patriots had interviewed to fill the big empty seat that Matt Patricia won't be filling as offensive coordinator anymore. Bill O'Brien, Nick Caley, Keenan McCardell, Sean Jefferson, and Adrian Clem have all been in this week for interviews. When will the interview for the next starting quarterback take place? This has been Headlines with the obvious one. Back to you there, Richard.
Some people stand in the darkness, afraid to step into the light.
Thanks, Ray. That was really well done. Super wild card weekend. Boo. I hate super wild. Come on.
Super shitty.
Nice, Ray. Fucking nailed that one. Knocked that out of the park. I'm just going to go right down the line in chronological order as how we watch these games. Give me your thoughts on them. 49ers, 41, Seahawks, 23. An interesting game till, I don't know, midway through the third quarter. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. A lot of people are high in him. I don't think he had a great game, but the 49ers are stacked. And, that was the only real blowout of the weekend, really. And it wasn't even that big of a blowout, honestly. That first half was competitive. Thoughts?
The more they win, the less likelihood Tom Brady goes there. So I'm all for it. Keep going, Mr. Purdy.
You're against Brady going to San Francisco
Yes.
because you want him back in New England.
Yes.
Got it. Any thoughts on the NFC West showdown, Roberto?
The game, yeah. I mean, Purdy doesn't throw the ball more than 10 yards. He throws the ball to Kittle or Ayuk or Debo Samuel, and then they just run around and get all the yards after that. I mean, their team is nasty. They probably have the best roster. So they're going to go. They're going to go to the NFC title game, and they may go to the Super Bowl. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, Purdy's just.
Is he
doing what he needs to
Garoppolo
do.
light, or is he better than Garoppolo at this point?
I
Purdy?
think they're the same guy. I think he just has less experience.
I like his release. I don't know how much of an arm he has. I haven't watched much of him.
He's cocky. He's a cocky asshole.
Yeah, I think he's got a
love it.
little. I think he's got a little, certainly a chip on his shoulder. 199, pick 199, or whatever. What's irrelevant? Something.
256.
Thank you. Are you sure?
199 was Brady.
Positive.
199 was Brady. There you go. I knew that was in my brain for some reason. Next up on the docket, this one was probably my favorite of the weekend.
Yeah.
Jags 31, Chargers 30. Fucking, I don't. Classic Chargers. We had this conversation, right? Biggest dumpster fires was our conversation, but the biggest loser franchise got to be the Chargers. The way that they have lost and lose in such unbelievable fashion, just can't win when they should. It's got to be the Chargers.
They're a team from a general manager drafting perspective, they draft so well because they don't spend money on free agents because their owner's poor. So all these good teams that they get, they draft all these guys and get them in, but they're so cheap that they have the worst coaching staffs and they don't they don't get any free agents, but it just.
Except for JC Jackson.
I know.
How'd that one work out?
Terrible. Really quickly though, they fired everyone but the head coach, which is hilarious because basically he put the blame on
it was
everyone
their fault,
else.
right?
No, that head coach is a boob, man. They're never going to win.
He's terrible.
Well, Billy the Queen told us that they can't fire Staley because they don't have enough money to go pay another head coach. So you just fire all of his assistants and make his assistants come in and do better work. McVay did the same thing to himself, to scapegoated himself in with the Rams. Is Justin Herbert a loser?
Yep. I don't think he'll ever win there.
Kind of looking that way.
Yep.
Look, and Ray, please, you seem a little mundane tonight, so maybe this is the night to say it. If Justin Herbert went to Cincinnati, Cincinnati would be the Chargers now. Joe Burrow is that much better than Justin Herbert, not physically, but in the way that he is dragging. We'll get to Cincinnati, dragging that shit rock of a franchise and the loserdom that comes with that franchise. Like you look at Joe Burrow and he's got enough moxie to drag him out of that. Justin Herbert doesn't. And if you're right, if Justin Herbert was on a different team in a different situation, he'd probably be excellent. There's just so much loser going on in the Chargers that it's hard for him to get out of there. What about Trevor Lawrence? Is he the real deal? 4 picks, comes back, leads his team to a win. How much do you credit the Chargers being losers and Lawrence being able to do that to him?
He's never lost on a Saturday either.
Trevor Lawrence?
Yep.
Does he want to know?
No. Saturdays, they plays college football on Saturdays. He's undefeated on Saturdays. All time.
College football.
Bobby does. Bobby will like that stat. Thank you there.
I like college football.
I know you do. So yeah.
Yeah, Lauren.
Tell us all about Saturdays, Bobby.
He was a number. He's got number one talent, but like I don't know if he's like. I just don't think he cares about football that much.
Doesn't look like he does. He does not look like a football player.
Jacksonville. Come on. You gotta give that. That's the whole thing too. They went out and signed Zay Jones. They got Evan Ingram, who wasn't going to be anything as a tight end, and the Giants. Who was the other guy they got?
Kirk,
Wide receiver from the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Christian
Kirk. Yeah, Christian
Christian
Kirk. I
Kirk.
mean, they went out there and signed all these guys to ridiculous money. I mean, he doesn't have like a true, like everyone's clamoring for Mac Jones to get this number one wide receiver. There's no number one wide receiver down there, and Trevor Lawrence is now in the divisional round. So say what you want about Trevor Lawrence, but
he is,
doing
but
it
he's
with
not.
nothing around him.
He's not great shakes. I think if they weren't playing the Chargers, they lose that game. And yeah, he excellent talent, excellent athlete. He's in Jacksonville. Who knows? Who knows what he is? I honestly don't know what he is. What I do know is with better coaching, he's in the divisional round. With a shit rock coach, they were two wins with Urban Meyer, 3 wins last year.
Urban
Coaching
Meyer
matters
was one
in
of
the
the
NFL.
worst coaches in NFL history.
Oh, when you're going to your own bar and getting handies from a girl
He
at the
might
bar,
be
I mean,
the worst
geez.
coach in NFL history.
And assault the kicker.
The
Mm.
brazen arrogance and just not giving a fuck by Urban Meyer almost has to be respected. If he wasn't such a if we didn't know he was such a shitty guy, like actual shitty human, you would almost respect it. But he sucks. Fuck Urban Meyer. He's a shit dude. He's a bad dude.
Yes. I can't wait for that 30 to 30 to come out on that guy. It's gonna be a much watched TV.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. All right, let's get to this next one. This one was almost the best game of the weekend. Bills 34, Dolphins 31. If it wasn't for that Poindexter and his cool fucking aviator shades, McDaniel down there in Miami, trash Miami, been saying it for years. If it wasn't for him blowing the 4th and inches, whatever it was, multiple times, they tried to rush up to the. Let me just chronicle it for you, Bobby. I know you have a point. I can see you chomping at the bit. After the game, well, here's what happened. They on a 3rd down got the completion, were short of the 1st down marker. They tried to run up and run a quick play. I don't remember why that didn't
Because
get off.
they were trying to get the challenge out. That's why they went and they false started it. So they couldn't challenge it. So there's a questionable catch on the sideline by, I think it was Tyreek Hill.
But the
So-
game was stopped by the referees.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's why they couldn't get off. But then when they finally got to run the play, it was a delay of game because they they had the extra time and the doofus still couldn't get the play. And in the play that he did call, we got to see it wouldn't have worked anyway. 4th and 6, the rookie Skyler, whatever his name is, just
Thompson.
barely misses the throw. What a series of buffoonery by that guy exposed himself as an offensive coach in the league. He's not a head coach. He will be fired within 2 years, and he'll make his way as an offensive coordinator throughout the NFL and have a lengthy career running offenses. But he's not a head coach. Just exposed himself.
So can he get fired and we can hire him? Can he get into the offensive coordinator carousel right now? No.
Well,
Sure.
not to mention he's currently in an all-out cold war with Robert Saleh for the douchiest coach on the sideline, okay, in the NFL. Those two are battling it out week after week in the AFC East for who's going to win.
You don't like Robert Saleh's beanies?
I don't like it. No.
That Mike McDaniel fall from grace is something that is not being talked about enough. The praise that he was getting to start and the goofy press conferences that he had and the dad jokes and just he pissed me off from the front. And
Well,
I'm glad that it I would have liked to
Was
see
it
the
spite?
Bills lose more. Yeah, I might live through spite.
I know.
So despite seeing the Bills lose was higher than watching McDaniel fail, but it was close. Either way, I was satisfied. It was fine. It was a good day.
I mean, also you could toot your own horn because the bright lights are on Josh Allen again. He pumpkined.
You worried about the Bills? Should the Bills be worried?
Yeah, I think they lose this weekend.
Bobby?
Yeah, I think they should be worried. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row they've played bad.
Yeah, I've talked about this. They play down to their competition, and it takes them a little bit to ramp back up, and you can't do that in the playoffs. So they dropped down to Miami's level, and they took their foot off the gas, and now they got to walk in and raise big ball Joe Burrow, and
Yeah, but he's
It's
also
game is
forcing a
based
lot.
off of
Something's
hitting
wrong.
bombs to Diggs.
And there's also something wrong with him too because he's forcing everything.
well,
Josh
they don't
Allen
run the
is.
ball. They don't
Yeah.
run an offense. They
Well, no,
they
they've
just
been
give it to
running
Josh
him.
Allen and make him make plays. It's
Yeah.
the Ben Roethlisberger method.
In like 2 years, he's going to be like Cam Newton and not be able to move because he gets crushed every game because he just throws his body around.
But he
Yeah,
doesn't
and
have-
say what you want. I mean, incredible plays, the stuff that he does, keeping plays alive right until the last second with the arm strength to just flick it 60 yards. But that has bit him at. You can't do that in the playoffs. You just can't. You just can't. It's been my book on Josh Allen from the get-go. Raymond, you know that I've said that. I've been wrong about him sucking. He's terrific, but
On the playoffs.
the way that he plays, you can't do that consistently in the playoffs and win. Giants Vikings 31-24. Just another loser franchise. Classic Vikings not showing up. Kirk Cousins with one of the worst decisions / throws I've seen maybe ever. Fourth down, your playoff chances. 4th and 7, he throws it 2 yards. Just kind of pathetic. Another Vikings performance.
Yeah, I mean another loser franchise, you'd say, right?
Yeah, never won a Super Bowl. Been in the league for over 60 years or whatever.
Oh, probably more than that. But yeah, Kirk Cousins. I mean, you like that? No, because you can't get it done, man.
Dayball's coach of the year.
I wouldn't argue that. How bad does that make Joe Judge look?
Bad. It takes Daniel Jones, who was basically he was getting in to be a professional cornhole because he thought he was going to be out of the NFL.
Now signing extension.
Yeah,
Is that true?
yeah, he plays professional cornhole.
Ooh, we gotta get the girls back on and find out about that.
And that's not like a sexual innuendo? Like he doesn't do like weird stuff?
Oh, he might do both, but he also plays professional cornhole.
Fair enough. If I was around Joe Judge for a year, I'd probably dip into some weird shit too. Bengals 24, Ravens 17, 98-yard fumble recovery is what it took for the Bengals to win. Almost still blew it on a Hail Mary from the Ravens. Joe Burrow was meh. Joe Burrow was Mac Jones-esque in this game. Just kind of meh. His offensive line is trash. It will continue to be trash. And I'll say this, right? I'll concede the point that Joe Burrow is good this year and was good this year. I think a lot of that has to do with drop-offs from other guys. But my original point in our bet was within 5 years, Joe Burrow will be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And my reasoning of that not happening had nothing to do with Joe Burrow. It had everything to do with the Cincinnati Bengals and them ruining everything good that ever comes to them. They're doing their best to ruin Joe Burrow. They're doing their absolute best with that offensive line and the way that they treat that. And he's still coming out winning. So the dude's a winner for sure. But I'd be a little bit worried about the Bengals.
Also,
I'm more worried about the Bengals than I am the Bills.
Can I ask you a question? No, not ask you a question. I'm going to tell you something. When he is the top 5 quarterback in the NFL and it's all praise and all that, you know that new slap league they have that Dana White's doing, where there's just 2 people, you slap the shit out of each other pretty much? You and Bill have to do that because you were wrong. And that's what I
know. The bet was $25 and we split it because that's how you handled money bets before that. So no, you can't just like make up a new thing. The bet was $50.
Is this an amendment? You're making an amendment.
Yeah, you can't amend the penalty
Yes, I can.
for losing.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Well, you
Okay,
can
then
amend.
I amend it.
For
When I'm
losing
wrong,
if
then
the
I don't
bet's
have to do anything.
So now, let's amend the bet so that Rich could like double or nothing this.
Okay.
Okay,
Amend
in
the
20
bet.
years, Burrow won't be in the league,
I'm
and
not gonna be
I don't.
alive
You don't
in
have to do
20
anything.
Years. I'm gonna have a heart
In
attack.
20 years.
Bobby, you worried about the Bengals?
I mean, what's the difference between
Or
this
should they
team this year and last year's team? They're the
Nothing.
same team. Their offensive line was bad last year. They made it the Super Bowl. So no.
I
would-
love it when Bobby's here.
Well,
Yeah.
what were the Chiefs
Yeah.
last year?
They had Tyreek Hill and one of the best offenses.
The Chiefs were banged up, and Patrick Mahomes could barely get on the field. That's the difference. The Chiefs
Yeah.
are going to go to the Super Bowl.
No. Joe Burrow owned the Chiefs twice last year. Nope.
Joe Burrow, Mahomes didn't have a knee. He battled into the Chiefs are better.
See, if
This
you would have
year.
said it's because of his brother and his stupid wife yelling out on the sidelines,
Well,
I would agree with that.
I don't live in the
Ow!
Twitterverse like you.
Oh, everyone knew about that shit. Come on, don't even talk about that like Twitterverse. Come on. You knew about Brittany and fucking Jackson Mahomes being nuisances and throwing champagne bottles on people, or
They were
spraying
being
them.
nuisances. What? Patty can't handle a nuisance in the stadium.
I don't know.
One nuisance throws off the whole
I
game.
don't know if Patrick Mahomes didn't win the Super Bowl because of the Kardashian drama or whatever the fuck you're talking about. What I do know is he barely could throw and didn't have a knee and couldn't run, and the team was behind what they were, and they're better this year. But the Bengals have had their number. They got to get past the Bills first, and I don't think they do. I think they lose to the Bills on Saturday, whenever they play. Cowboys 31, Bucks 14. This is the end of Brady.
It might be because his whole fucking family was there. His mother, father, sisters, everyone was there at that game. So this could be it.
I don't think so. I think he wants to play.
He has to probably because of the money that he lost in that crypto.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of money in that FTX deal. Although
Yeah.
Fox is, what is it, like $375 million deal waiting for him in
That's
Fox?
like
or something?
25 million a year or something.
I don't
like
even know if that's true. It just seemed like that came out of thin air.
That just makes up what he lost. He's got to play some more years to make some extra cash.
I don't want to see him go out like that. That was bad. I think that, there's some landing spots for him if he wants to play, and I think he does want to play. I think he'll be back. I don't think he'll be back in Tampa. I don't think he wanted to be back in Tampa this year. That was half the problem. And then his
Sounds
wife
like
left
it.
him.
It sounds like there's a shit storm coming in Tampa. They just fired 9 assistants.
They
down
wanted
there.
to blow it up last year, and the
Yeah.
only reason they didn't is because Brady was
Brady
there, and
came
I'm
back.
sure they wanted to sell tickets. Brady probably told them, "Blow it up, let me out of my contract. I'm out. I'm good." And they were like, "No, like, So I think that was certainly motivation was part of the reason. He was going to Kraft's wedding the night before a game, all that shit.
Oh yeah.
If
Was
he
gone for
can
3 weeks. What was training camp?
he left in
didn't-
training camp, the middle of
Yeah.
training camp for 3 weeks to
Hey,
try
guys,
to
That
keep
was
I'm
his marriage
divorce
together.
related. That
Yeah.
was divorce related.
A lot of L's for Brady this year. I think he comes back. I think he comes back motivated and it probably has a decent year, whether it's the Raiders or whatever. Saints. Who knows?
Tennessee.
How about the Cowboys? You believe in the Cowboys?
Yeah, because I think they're gonna knock Purdy out of the playoffs this weekend. That defense is fast. I mean, even though like the Tampa Bay offensive line was beat up, that defense was quick. Brady had no time to throw, and Dak
Yeah.
just had to manage the game. That's all he had to do.
Good players, but they'll find a way to fuck it up.
Dak did more to manage the game. He probably had his best game as a pro.
Yeah, he didn't
He
fuck
was
it up.
dialing it up. Over under interceptions next week for Dak, 2.5.
Under.
I'll go over. I bet you Dak has a shit fucking game next week and they lose with 17 points. I don't trust Mike McCarthy. I don't trust Dak Prescott. I don't trust the Cowboys. It was their first playoff win in 30 years.
And they were celebrating like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's over. They're done. 49ers going to fucking walk all over them. Speaking of the next round, divisional round, that is cool, though. Seeing the 49ers Cowboys in the playoffs, just from our
Nostalgia.
youth, our nostalgia. That's a cool color clash. I'm excited to watch that game.
Oh, so the Jags and Chiefs don't really get anything for you?
Yeah, the Jags and Chiefs, just the Jaguar. It's just like, oh God.
Jags and Chiefs, unless it's Mark Brunell back there slinging it around in 96. Jags aren't really exciting anymore.
Keenan McCardell out there fucking catching those bombs from him.
Yeah, no, he's going to be calling plays for New England.
weird.
Giants Eagles. Giants Eagles is that's always good. That's always a fun one.
I think the Giants beat them.
Could be the upset watch. Jalen Hurts is hurt. Eagles haven't played well in a number of weeks. Giants are hot. You got a divisional matchup. Upset alert.
Going for an NFC East NFC title game.
Ooh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
That'd be a ratings juggernaut for
Although
Mr.
Giants
Goodell.
49ers will get a lot of 49-year-old, 48-year-old football fans, wieners going. An 80s rematch matchup between the 49ers and Giants. And then last year, Bengals and Bills. Looks like we are heading for AFC championship game in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Which we haven't touched on. I'll do it real
Thanks,
quick before we
NFL.
move on.
No, it's not going to happen. Don't worry.
What a money grab. What a money grab that was. I don't know if you guys read the article on SimplifyingSports.com that I wrote, but Goodell and his cronkies, basically the entire NFL, all the owners got to vote on where they would hold the AFC championship game as a neutral site because of the heart attack from Hamlin there in the Bengals-Bills game. Everybody that wasn't involved or potentially involved voted to do it in the place that would make the most money. That's essentially what it came down to. The Bills and the Bengals specifically said, or Chiefs and Bengals specifically said, outdoor grass neutral site. I think the Bills abstained. They were just too mentally fried.
Yeah,
Their mental health was just too fragile at that point to think about a couple weeks down the line. And then whoever else might have been in play, whatever other AFC team, had similar thoughts to the Bengals and the Chiefs. Everybody else said, nope, fuck you. Wherever we get the most money, put it there. What a sham. What a goddamn sham this league has become.
And isn't Detroit better because it's like closer proximity to Kansas City and Buffalo?
Yeah,
Now you
but
go to
they're
Atlanta.
That would have been very close to Buffalo.
they were worried about flights. They were worried about inclement weather getting to the airport in
No,
Atlanta.
They also worried about fucking people going to Detroit and getting murdered.
Well, that's racist. Quick break. Speaking of getting murdered, let's do the best and the worst of the 2022 New England Patriots. I did ask you guys to come up with a couple examples and lists. However, I did name some here because I'm assuming Ray didn't do anything other than under worst right Mac Jones.
What the fuck? Why would you say that?
Am I wrong?
No.
Well, then we're going to start with best. Some of the best moments from the 2022 Patriots. Now, this could be player. I put some plays down if you want to relive that. Just feelings, anything. There's not a lot of them. Bad, underwhelming season. They did have 8 wins. People do forget they weren't the basement of the league. They were at times successful. So, first off, number one, best I had Judon. I think he was your best player. I think he was your most impactful player. I think it was the best thing to watch for multiple parts of the season. 15 and a half sacks. I also had Ramondre Stevenson, 270-something touches, 69 catches.
Nice.
100,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. I'll throw these in your rookie class in Marcus Jones and Jack Jones. Sorry, future Hall of Famer Jack Jones.
Thank you.
And current asshole Jack Jones.
Yeah, if he ever plays for the Patriots again.
Probably not. And Marcus Jones was one of the true spark plugs and highlights on the season. I'll stop there, get your opinion, see if you want to add anything.
I mean, Matthew Judon should be AFC Defensive Player of the Year. Absolutely. Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris going into contract year pretty much says see you later now, Damian Harris, because this is Ramondre Stevenson's running back. You don't have to worry about anything else because it's not the running back by committee that we always used to see. Damian Harris and all the other guys that they had around him. And like you said, Marcus Jones and Jack Jones, that rookie class, you could put Zappy in there as well. But I think the Sounds of Silence was one of the best players that you could have put out back there because he's not a clear number one cornerback, but he did what he had to do out there. He week in and week out shut down the number one corners out, wide receivers out there in the NFL. I mean, obviously Buffalo and Stephon Diggs came around later in the season, but he had one of the better years that was surprising with Jonathan Jones as the number one.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Jones got exposed at certain points during, against some of the elite guys, Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs.
Justin Jefferson, Diggs back to back.
But I agree with you, Ray. I think he had a really, really good season. He earned himself a contract this year as an unrestricted free agent. I think he would be an awesome number 2 here.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think
bet they franchise him.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
They gave him a contract early, and he made some money with them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him back here. Anything to I'll give you some more, Bob, and you can go from there. So I had Kyle Duggar also on this list. 2 pick sixes, 3 touchdowns total in the season, 78 tackles, 3 interceptions. Josh Uche, who came on late, turned into a premier pass rusher. Offensively, Jacoby Myers, probably one of the only pluses you can give. Maybe Devontae Parker, but hard to go offense on that, except for if you want to go Zappy Fever, which I'm sure, Bobby, you do.
Yeah,
and
Bobby.
the only other positive I had on this, and they ruined it because of the way they played when they wore these, but the throwback unis are pretty slick. They are pretty sexy. It was cool to see that. It's too bad they sucked whenever they wore them, but Zappy Fever it was the Bills game Thursday night. They wore them. I think they wore them one more other time and they lost, but that's neither here nor there. And Zappy Fever, even though I'm not with you guys in the Zappy, I don't think you're only half-heartedly there. It was fun.
Oh,
it was fun, and they did win, so that was good.
Yeah, best for me was defense. Young players, a couple of them to come through. Actually, there's players on the defense that'll be here for a few years that are good and established. I thought that was the best part. I mean, look at the offense. Yeah, okay, Ramondre, he was good. Other than that, offense, I don't know as much what you're building on. You kind of got a really relook at things. But for me, best of the Patriots players is defense. Yeah, the Zappy thing was fun. The best part of the whole Zappy thing was when Mac Jones got yanked and Zappy came in and threw the 2 touchdowns, especially after the long one to Stevenson or to Parker.
I think it was Myers
like,
or Parker. Yeah.
Zappy, Mac Jones is done. Zappy's in forever. There was just that one shining moment, which like in the season was fun. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it faded away.
Then he threw 14 balls into defensive lineman's face masks in the second half of it and threw 2 picks. So Zappy Fever died that night against Chicago. So did a lot of hopes and dreams for all these guys. I'll give you a couple plays. So some of the best plays of the season. This guy lands on the worst list for me, but Nelson Aguilar early in the season, that leaping grab against the Steelers for the touchdown. We don't see a lot of those this year, so put that on the list if you remember it. Against the Bengals, the Hail Mary that bounced off Kendrick Bourne into Myers' arms that kept them in the game. Nice play there. That ball went 50 yards in the air, I do believe, if anyone was counting.
No,
47.
And these, the Zappy touchdown versus the Bears I had on this list. And then these last 2, Kyle Duggar's pick sixes, the one against the Raiders and the one against Miami. Probably 2 of your best defensive plays on your best side of the ball. But the Marcus Jones walk-off punt against the Jets.
that's the best one by far.
That's best play of the year.
The also Jacoby Myers, the toe touch against the Bills last game of the season. That was a fucking phenomenal catch.
That was a
Didn't
great
watch-
catch.
Didn't watch the game.
So yeah, it was basically you had to like
Take a word for it.
see the pellets come up off the ground. That's the only way they knew that he got his second foot down. So that was amazing. That was probably the catch of the year.
Let's get into the worst of the season,
Oh,
shall
this
we?
is fun. Yes,
Let me
absolutely.
start with this. All right, do you feel like you want to start this segment?
No, go ahead.
Okay,
Richard.
I will start. I'll go with the entire offense, all of it, the entire offensive experience from July, from whenever they named Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator up until now, before they've named the next offensive coordinator. The entire offensive experience for the Patriots was the worst part of the season. Clearly, if we would like to dive into more of it, they tried to implement 3 different offenses. If you remember, the first was the McVay spread run offense. That didn't work in training camp. They scrapped that in the first preseason game. Then the first start of the game, they tried to do the 50-50 ball, just Mac Jones going back there, 7-star trap and chucking him up in the air. That's what got him hurt. And then Zappy came in. They had to dial it all back, and they went, oh, shit, we don't have players to run anything other than this, so let's go back with what we were running for 20 years. So that was your offensive experience under Matt Patricia. That whole experiment was obviously a complete and utter failure. After that, just specifically, we can wait for the plays. Special teams get on the list. The running and roughing into the kicker. The kick returns against the last game of the year against the Bills, plus a couple more during the season. Nick Folk just all of a sudden missing extra points out of nowhere.
R.I.P. Nick Folk.
R.I.P. Nick Folk.
He needs to retire.
Jake Bailey on his own can handle this list. The rest of these on here, I had basically players, which we can get to if you want to add anything by all means, or if you want to add to what I just said as we get the worst of the 2022 Patriots.
I'm going to throw in Miles Bryant because he's been on my fucking worst list for
Good call.
2 years now, and I don't know why the fuck this guy still is playing on this goddamn team. I mean, I hope with the Gerard Mayo promotion that he can just have some say and say, get the fuck out of my locker room. You know, like, get off my lawn, kid. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of Foxborough because this kid sucked. I mean, how many times was he burned, like, trying to come into the game, playing the third wide receiver or even second wide receiver and just getting blown by? You call it. You can be like, oh, there's Miles Bryant. See you later. Here's the touchdown, because that's how bad this kid is. And then he goes to return punts and he muffs them all the time. It's like, this kid sucks. Get him the fuck out of Foxborough. I hate that guy.
He's not an NFL player. He's
Well
bad.
said, Raymond. Good call.
Oh,
He's bad.
Fucking hate Miles Bryant. Oh.
The airing of grievances, Miles Bryant's on the list.
Yeah, always. Number
You
one.
could have made the list from 2020 to 2023.
Oh, jeez.
Bob, you want to add anything to that? You want me to get into some of these specific players if you want to rail on them?
Yeah, well, that's where I was going to go with the players. I mean, basically the offensive line. List them. They were terrible. Isaiah Wynn just punted on the season. Trent Brown was a head case most of it. Cole Strange, rookie, rough season, but I mean, a lot of the problems stemmed from there. But when you basically have two tackles that are poor and you don't have tackles throughout the year, your offensive line is going to suck, and that really hurt them all year.
Both of them, Trent Brown and Isaiah Wynn, were due for one penalty. I mean, we were texting back and forth with Isaiah Wynn mid-season, the delay of game false start when they got to the red zone, and it was clockwork. Like,
yeah, it was every game. Every game.
Clockwork.
Yeah, we do it.
And then Trent Brown picked it up. When Isaiah Wynn went down with the injury, Trent Brown picked it up, and he had the most penalties in the league. I'm pretty sure. If anyone wants to fact check me on that, I'm pretty sure Trent Brown had the most penalties in the league. At least for offensive linemen, he led the league. Yeah, those guys were terrible. Offensively, sticking with that, Nelson Aguilar is a zero, an absolute zero. Could have called that when they signed him. Jonnu Smith, obviously, we know he can't play. He's not good.
Which is wonderful.
What did they see
What did
in
he
him?
do? Yeah, what did he do in Tennessee that made him come here and be like, we're all like, holy shit, he's gonna be amazing.
So they projected on a couple guys. Jonnu Smith was one of them. Jonnu Smith, his last year in Tennessee, caught, I think, 6 or 7 touchdowns and was a real red zone threat. However, that was the year Derrick Henry completely blew up, or the year after. And they were running jumbo packages with Derrick Henry on the 4-3 2-yard line, and everyone was selling out in the run, and Jonnu Smith was just wide open. So they projected wrong on Jonnu Smith. Obviously an incredible athlete, but football IQ is probably lacking. You're stuck with him for another year at least, maybe 2. Not using Kendrick Bourne, him getting in the doghouse, clearly one of your best playmakers on offense. And every time he was out there, he made something happen, and he played something like 7% of the snaps.
Well, don't make fun of Skinny Ray. You'll be fine.
He must be so douchey in the locker room because those coaches hate him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's come out and said, I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to stay here. I want to continue what we started here. I've heard a lot of that echoing throughout the locker room. I honestly think you had a band of brothers situation going on with how bad the coaching was this year, led by your boy Mac, right? Which you could call a mutiny if you want. But I think that there's a good core of offensive players that banded together, stuck with each other during the worst offensive coaching they've ever had in their lives. And like, fuck it, we're sticking together next year too. Let's just run it back and see if we can make something happen.
It was like when we were in Mr. Walker's English class and we stuck together and played trouble every day out in the hallway.
That's right.
Walker. All right. I'll tell you what, we gave that guy a run for his fucking money. All right.
Yeah. And they
Fuck
did that
him.
to fucking Miss Matt Patricia. See, we have something in common
Exactly.
with those boys.
That's true. We did mutiny against poor teaching. we did.
And we got ourselves out of that
I'll tell you
classroom,
what,
and
how
we got to
little
play
I
trouble in the
respected
hallway.
Walker. We actually had a book report, and I took a cover over the book, and I wrote on it, Walker is a woman, and presented it to the class, and I got a B.
I remember
did.
that. You were in our class. You were playing trouble with us.
I've told
outside.
that story more than once, and people tend to like it.
Yeah.
We did mutiny that. This might have been closer to the bone of in middle school banding together against Fulton as you peered out the peepholes
To the,
as we
locker
changed.
Yeah.
Everyone, we're all into this together, guys. We got to get the fuck out of here. Am I calling Matt Patricia a pedophile like Fulton? Maybe. I'm just.
Well, then these band of brothers, Bill O'Brien will come in and be like, "Oh, this guy's a dick. Bring Matty P back. He was great. We could do whatever we wanted."
This guy's really mean. The other guy was really dumb, but this
He
guy's
keeps
really
telling me
mean.
to do stuff.
This guy's really mean. All right, to that end, Raymond, on the worst list of the season, Mac Jones' bitchiness lands on here. Clearly, it did not help the team. For mainly out of spite, I had to take the Mac. I had to jump on the Mac train, and you Mac shamed me for it all season. But
I hated you being the captain of the Mac ship.
I will concede that his bitchiness didn't help anything, and he looked like a douche at times. But I still don't really blame him. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. He was a douche, and I don't think he's a born leader. I think if he had an offensive coordinator that could put him in his place and he respected like a Bill O'Brien, that would be perfect for him. But when you have a fat ass that doesn't know how to call plays and you're just going through the motions and just trying to get through week 18 and just be like, yep, I need to get this season over and done with. I think that's what it was all year for him because he didn't respect his fucking coaches or anything like that. So he didn't have any help. So he had to stick with his brothers and just get through the whole thing. So I'm sorry too.
Zap
Sorry,
Daddy. Thank you. I'm glad we came to a peaceful end on that, Raymond.
Thank you.
We'll see what Mac is. I think you just throw this season out. I honestly think you have to for almost
You have to.
everybody on that offense, other than anybody with a track record before it.
This is his final straw, though. If he comes in and you get a
Oh, I'm with you. Look,
yeah,
look,
absolutely.
you tell me tomorrow they want to bring Lamar Jackson here and blow Mac Jones out. I'm with you. You tell me tomorrow they want to bring in Brady and blow Mac Jones out. I'm with you. I'm not. I've never said that he's the guy you have to invest in him. I've just said everything around him was so bad. I don't understand how you blame him for it. That's all I've said. And yeah, he acted like a little bit of a tennis brat bitch this year. I don't know if he's not a born leader though. The before this season, the last thing that went in my mind against that Bills team in the playoffs when they got blown out, he was the only guy that showed up. That first drive, dropping dimes, running for first downs, getting the touchdown, showed me something. It seemed like we had something going. It seems like a million years ago now, but clearly the kid's got fire in him, whether that turns into douchey fire or leadership fire
or spiteful fire.
Right. It can be very powerful, spite. Very powerful.
We know how it is.
Any final thoughts on Mac on the bad list there, Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, Mac, I get it. Throw the year out. He wasn't set up for success. I'm still on the thing where I just don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's got the physical tools. I think if Bill O'Brien was here this year, it would look just like the year before. Maybe we won 11 games and we're looking at a first round exit. It's just that's just kind of what I think he is. I think that's the ceiling.
We'll see. I mean, I think that's great unknown. I'd take 11 wins right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So would I.
Last on this, I had the run defense was bad. Devin Gottschalk, $20 million man. Thumbs down.
That was dumb. Dumb signing.
And then we'll end this segment, the worst plays of the year. We talked about this, but every delay of game or false start by the offensive line or the offense in general. Max interceptions versus the Ravens. The one in the end zone to Devontae Parker, which a lot of people said wasn't his fault, but make the throw. And then the other one that basically ended the game to wherever the linebacker was, if you guys remember that. You know, the offense actually looked somewhat competent that game, and seemed like Mac just kind of lost his head a little bit and had some two bad picks. Every single play in that blowout against the Bears, except for Zappi's touchdown, those were bad. Watching Justin Field run up and down for 30-something points.
That was his start of his Mike Vick.
That started the run. They were just like, yeah, we're just going to have this guy run all game.
They are still the worst team in the league. Number 1 overall pick, Chicago Bears, blew you out on Monday Night Football. And Stevenson fumble against the Bengals. That was one of the plays that kept you out of the playoffs. The other one was Stevenson's lateral to Jacoby Myers, who then lateraled it to Mac Jones to get destroyed by Chandler Jones, which will go down as the dumbest play ever in NFL history.
Mm-hmm. I have two of those too. The one was the Ravens game when Mac Jones had the meme of the century of crying because he sprained his fucking ankle. That should be on there. And then the other one was the whole debacle of the Bears game, running with Mac Jones when he shouldn't have came back that week. They should have held him off to the Jets game, and they brought him in just because Bill, and when it didn't work out and they pulled him and put Zappy in, Bill said, oh, that was our plan all along. Bullshit. That whole sequence of events on that Bears game was just atrocious, and it was that was like coaching wise, playing wise, everything was just bad. That was the worst week of game ever.
That whole portion of the season is probably why you're sitting at 8-9. Joe Judge and Matt Patricia were throwing Mac Jones under the bus, and Belichick was listening to him, and then he was getting pressure from everywhere else. They created their own quarterback controversy, and then Belichick escalated it in front of his own fans, putting Mac Jones in there to fail, and then yanking him immediately. It's some of the worst management I've ever seen. And you like that section of 2 or 3 weeks, and they finally figured it out. But that 2 or 3 week time frame was Jaguars-esque. That was Jets-esque. Well, the dysfunction going on.
Put your tinfoil hat on too, because that's when they said that they found out that Mac was calling other coaches for advice on what to do and all this bullshit, and that's when Bill got wind of it.
I don't discredit that at all. The other report of that information is that information was leaked by Patricia and Judge to try and save their own ass. So
you don't say.
No shit. Let's just cap this with dysfunction is what went on there for a good portion of at least the beginning part of the season. And it seemed like they capped the dysfunction part of it. Still couldn't get over the execution part of it from an offensive standpoint. But yeah, that was pretty ugly. Pretty ugly. All right, last thoughts, Bobby, on the worst of 2022 Patriots.
100% that fumble against the Bengals. I know the lateral.
Ooh.
The lateral was there,
Ooh.
but it was the Bengals fumble was the worst because it was the game after. And then they had come out and they had lied down in the first half and we just thought it was over. Then they had the unmitigated gall to come back in that fucking game and then fumble right at the end to fucking lose it.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that comes close to it for me would be the second kickoff return touchdown by the Bills. Again, in that Bills game, the last game, going into halftime, it was 14-14. Watching the game live, you're like, all right, they're in this game. Then they come out, they get the field goal, they're up 17-14. Nope. That's exactly what happened. And it was just like, they're going to fucking lose.
Because you were into that text exchange. It was me, Bill, and Bobby. We're just like, holy shit, this is a game. This is going to be competitive. We could do this. Yeah. And then halftime rolls out.
Bill was getting riled up talking to the fans there. He said he was insufferable.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. Yeah, from just in a vacuum, probably not the worst plays, but with what everything meant and the escalation of the season, yeah, totally. Yeah, the Bengals, the Stevenson fumble. Good God, that was
the worst.
Was crushing. The lateral was just like, what?
Yeah, the lateral was more amusing. It was because it was so like insane. You've never seen that. You were just, I laughed. I literally laughed when it happened. But when you fumble on like the 4, wherever he was, I was furious.
You're right too, because we knew that they had to win the Raiders game to have any chance of the playoffs. And then when they did that, it's like, oh, you lost. Okay, everything's over. Like whatever, it's all gone. But then you get to the Bengals and you're like, oh my God, here's your redemption. They go win this, and now you're back in it. Mm-hmm. And it's crushing.
Fucking assholes.
Take that.
And then the Bills, the Bills. Oh my God, they can win this.
Exactly.
Get in. And nope. Oh, this is what it was like as a New England Patriots fan, more so as a Red Sox fan, about 20-something years ago. It was just going to tweak your hopes a little bit and then shit down your throat.
It's actually more than that for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Patriots-wise, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be back. All right. Afternoon delights. Quick Celtics minute as they are sticking around with their daddy behind me. And then Simplest Minds of the Week to close it out. Quick break.
Sky rockets in flight. Woo! Afternoon delight. Whoop. You guys have it, I think. Afternoon delight.
I don't know, Ron. That sounds kind of crazy.
We also have we have another candidate for Simplest Minds when we get there.
Okay, we'll get to the Celtics minute pretty quick then. Celtics take on the Warriors as they're on behind me here. They are currently losing 78-72. Shoot it, Al.
Who's been having a very good game.
Has he?
Yeah.
I knew you were watching the game, you asshole. 78-7. Bot pod strikes again. Bottom of the totem pole of dumb. I'm not watching the game. Al's been having a good game. What an idiot. What a fucking idiot. Is this a must win? Is this a mental health win for the Celtics? Obviously, they losing 6 to the Warriors last year. Clearly, Celtics are best team, best talent in the NBA this year, running away with things. But the Warriors, they got dismantled out in California when they played them earlier this year. Is this a for these Gen Zers, is this a mental health game for them? Do they got to win this thing to kind of get over that hurdle? Even though, and I'll add this and go to you, Bobby, there's a good chance the Warriors don't even make the playoffs. Maybe at least not get out of the first round. There's a good chance you don't see the Warriors again for the Celtics. They're 5-17 on the road this year or something. And to my point, they're beating you by 9. The Warriors are against the Celtics. So still seems like there's a mental hurdle there for the C's.
Yeah, I don't know if they just see it that way. I just don't. I think that They thought that they could go toe to toe with them in the finals, but it didn't work out. I don't think it's that they think that they can't beat them. I just think that they're a bad matchup, and they don't think that they're to that point. They might think that same thing. We're not going to see them, and they might be licking their chops at whoever else that they're going to get. But I just don't know if that's how this team operates. I'm sure Marcus Smart wants to, but I don't know if that's how Tatum and Brown feel.
Raymond.
They turtle. They're still young. You got to understand that. Tatum's 24, Brown's 25. These guys are still young. These are veterans. You know, Steph Curry's been in the league for what, 10 plus years now. These guys are all veterans on that other team who are known winners who know how to do it. So maybe it's just, you know, their buttholes are puckering up a little bit when they go against the Warriors because they are the class that, you know, they're probably the guys they looked up to when they were in AAU. You know, they wanted to idolize these kids. So, you know what? They're playing their idols and they're getting their asses kicked every single fucking time.
Yeah, Steph Curry is a generation's LeBron or Kobe or Jordan for sure. And I disagree with you, Bobby. This is mental. This is 100% mental. The Celtics are so much better than the Warriors. They're so much better than the Warriors. I haven't watched the game, clearly, so I don't know the reason why they're losing. If I were to guess, some bad turnovers, some slow defense, and some missed shots would be my guess. But it might not matter. It probably won't matter. Because there's a good chance the Celtics get back to the finals. There's not a good chance the Warriors get back to the finals. So this might be the last time you see them till next year, and it just might be in their rear view. There has been, when they lost to the Warriors on the West Coast, there was a hangover. They went and lost by 20 to the Clippers the next game, and then barely snuck out of LA against the Lakers in overtime on, I forget the exact sequence of all that, but it was some pretty wild plays. They blew a 17-point lead, then had to come back. And so, you know, there's some hangover there. They mentally own them. The Warriors mentally own them right now. And all championship teams most of them have had to get over this. Jordan had to get over the Pistons. LeBron had to get over the Celtics. Go down the list of the greats that had to push through. Most of them have had to go through somebody that came before them. So I don't think it's abnormal, and it might not matter this year. Probably won't, but it'll be a burn. It'll be a mental burn for them if they lose this game. Any thoughts on Draymond? Did they do the "fuck you, Draymond" chant? Ray, did you hear?
I don't have the volume up.
Okay. Do you care about that? Do you have any thoughts on Draymond Green?
He's like Brad Marchand. You'd love to have him on your team, but if he's not on your team, you fucking hate his guts.
Except Brad Marchand's one of the best wingers in the league, and Draymond kind of sucks.
No, I'd take Draymond Green in a heartbeat.
Draymond Green kind of sucks.
Draymond Green's just not good at basketball, but like he's a good person. He's good to have on the team.
Yeah, he can't score. He can't shoot.
But he can play defense.
He can pass.
Like
he can't play that great of defense anymore. He used to be.
Well, he's old
clearly
now.
Used to be much better.
Yeah,
and he can pass. He can help
pass.
you. He's Al Horford without a shot.
Yeah,
and he's not he's not as good of a defender.
He's Marcus Smart, but a worse shot. How about that?
He's kind of been the spark
Draymond
plug
Green
of their
sucks.
team, though. It's just like you're saying, if he's losing it physically, and that's probably why they're not as good, because he used to anchor their defense.
No, it's true. I think he's a mouthpiece. If he was on the Celtics, then yeah, you know. Actually, that's not true. We've been shitting on Marcus Smart for years. I think Boston treats their athletes a little bit differently than places elsewhere. But Draymond might be one of those guys that you endear because of the way he handles himself. And if you like the town, then
maybe you feel different if Marcus Smart had won 3 titles.
Maybe, yeah, 4.
And knew his place on the team.
That's a big thing. He certainly knows his place on the team. That's for sure. All right. Lastly on this, Tatum had the 50 burger against Charlotte earlier this week. Passed Larry Bird for most 50 points games in the Celtics with 4. Bird had 3. I think that's right. I posed this question: if they do win the championship this year, can Tatum start getting in the conversation of greatest top 5 Celtics of all time? I'll give you. I wrote this blog on simplemindsports.com too, if you want to go read it. You're not getting past Russell. You're not getting past Bird. You're not getting past Havlicek. You're talking about, can he pass Pierce? Can he pass McHale?
No.
Can he pass Sam Jones? Can he pass Cedric Maxwell, Bob Cousy? That's kind of the list you're talking about. I think the
No.
big ones are McHale and Pierce that you got to get back. So you're going to get in the top 5.
He has to win more than one.
Can't pass Pierce yet.
Because Pierce was here forever and finally won one. Just grinded it out.
And he had a good
then-
career up until that. The Antoine Walker years.
Yep.
Pierce holds a lot of records for the Celtics. Most 3-pointers, most steals. He's top 3. He's top 3 in points. Minutes played, games played, obviously. So statistically, Pierce, because he was here for so long, holds a lot of those records and got the ring. If Pierce didn't get the ring, that's the whole point. If Tatum gets this championship, I'm going to start talking about him in that realm because he's signed with the team for another 2 years and he's in his prime and he's an MVP candidate. Pierce was never an MVP candidate. McHale was never an MVP candidate because he had Bird. Tatum's going to be better than Pierce. Tatum's going to be better than McHale. He will be.
But he has to be here for that long term.
Yeah, no, I think you'll probably end up with a better career. But if we're probably doing that comparison now, like Pierce would still edge him.
Yeah, I think minimally Pierce will be in a Celtics uniform for 8 years. So you have that conversation 2 years from now. And maybe if he sticks around, then I think it's a no-brainer that he'll eclipse those guys. Because I think he's just
one
better.
of those things.
Yeah.
Who do you want to have the ball in the end, like a Pierce or a Tatum, like as like a finishing type of guy?
Oh, I'm taking Pierce over most guys in the NBA. It goes like Jordan, Kobe, Pierce is pretty close. You go start looking. Fuck Ray.
For having a set shot, nobody could stop that shit.
You go start looking at statistics of Pierce, and his game-winning shots and fourth quarter shots and clutch shots. He's top 5 all time.
A two-handed set shot that he had. It was a two-handed set shot.
And it was so slow too. It was so weird. He
It's
was
what
he looked like he was turtle.
It's what I've been talking about with Tatum for years, Raymond. I've said this. Like, understand how to find your spot on the floor and create your space and just get to your shot. You don't need 1,000 dribbles. You don't need handle. You don't need speed. You just need a little change of pace and understanding how to get to your spot and then be able to shoot. And Tatum's close. He's real close to doing all that.
He just needed the humbling that Paul Pierce got in the streets.
And shit his pants and get taken out on a wheelchair and come back and get new shorts.
And he also needed a top 15 player of all time in KG to come in and change the entire culture and bring in the best shooter of all time, Ray Allen, and then get one championship.
Yeah, that's Jesus.
So that's all he needed.
Mm-hmm.
But,
that
top
starting
5 Celtic
five
of all
is
time.
still undefeated.
Still undefeated. All right, we'll be right back with Simplest Minds of the Week to close out the show.
Are you stupid or something? I'm as stupid as a stupid does.
I had a couple on here. Well, we can breeze through them real quickly because I wrote these down earlier in the week and I don't really remember them. The first simplest mind of the week I had going back to Miami and Buffalo game, Miami's head coach McDaniel is secretly vaping on the sidelines. He's been doing it all year. He's been caught a couple times. And I don't know if this happened in sequence, but after they blew that 4th down to lose the game, it cut to him and it looked like he was secretly vaping. It's just like,
calm his nerves down, man.
Dude, can you just put it down for a couple hours? Like, you need a vape on the sideline with your aviator shades and your slick back hair and your tiny concave chest and your little shoulders. You just look like a fucking dweeb, and you just blew the biggest game this organization has had in years. I hate that guy. God, what a loser. What a simple-minded loser, McDaniel.
It's a troll that fucked you really up.
Not really. I don't care about that. I've told him Miami's trash. They're all trash. The whole organization's trash from the top down. Al Michaels mailing it in the Jags game. It was the Jags game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the comeback. Yeah. He didn't give a shit.
He just wanted to go to bed. You could tell that he was, why would you give him the late game? The fucking early game. Get him to bed early. Get him to home.
Boring. That broadcast
He's
sucks.
like, God, I
How
have to
old
be in
is he?
fucking Jacksonville.
He's like 80 plus years old, isn't he?
I don't know, but I guess he gets like a gourmet spread at the games and said some. I didn't read it, but I guess he clapped back at the haters after talking about how bad he was in that game. He was like, "Fuck you, whatever. I make millions. I don't care." So he's gone into full crossed over status. Doesn't give a shit. They gotta try and dump him. That was bad.
Yeah, he's 80. He'll be no 78. I'm sorry.
We'll stick with the NFL here. Dallas kicker. What's his name? Brett or Brian Maurer? Brett Maurer.
Brett Maurer.
Brett Maurer. 4 extra points missed in a row.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think he didn't need.
Are you
that shit.
delayed, Bobby, or are you just like to look at us?
I might be delayed.
I think you're
No.
delayed a little bit, so we give Bobby a
Yeah.
half second to respond. Let me try that again. Brett Maurer, 4 extra points in a row.
4 extra points missed in a row.
What an idiot. Speaking of idiots, the last one I had on my list, some guy put $1.4 million down. Was this
At halftime.
halftime? Halftime of the Chargers game for the Chargers to win. The payout was 11 grand.
Idiot. Why would you do that? That's
I
like
mean-
fuck you money. That's fuck you money. Like, oh, cool.
But
I'm
like, it just doesn't make any sense. There's so many better bets you could do that you don't have to put up 1.4 million of your own money to potentially win 11,000.
You got to imagine he's one of these stat nerds and looked at it. Chargers probably had like a 89% chance of winning that. Did crunch the numbers. And was like, well, I'm going to pick up a quick 11 G's right here. And I'm going to keep padding my stack.
I hope he didn't have the money. He had to go to his dad. Like, it was a trust fund kid. He had to go to his dad and be like, oh, Dad, I'm sorry. And it's all over the internet, so everyone knows about it.
It's Justin Herbert's fault.
Yeah.
Ray, you want to add one?
It came out today, actually, the Colts, why Josh McDaniels didn't go to the Colts. Pretty much.
saw this.
The Jim Irsay was
This
over
is
there and
great.
he was shitting in his bathroom for over 15 minutes. And his wife's like, no, I'm not going through all this bullshit. Like, get him. No, I'm not, we're out on the Colts.
No, you got to explain this a little better. Jim Irsay visited Josh McDaniels' house and his family before signing him or in the meeting to sign or introduce him, or I forget exactly. He was Jim Irsay was in Josh McDaniels' house with
It was
Josh
basically to
McDaniels'
sign a
wife and his family.
contract. Yeah, it was to sign
Maybe
a
to sign the
contract.
contract, whatever it was. And the story is that Jim Irsay used the restroom and shit for a good 15 plus minutes and shit everywhere. Just Dumb and Dumber style, couldn't get out of the bathroom. And Josh McDaniels' wife was like, we can't deal with this guy. This guy's a maniac.
Didn't they knock on the door? Like, she knocked on
I
the
don't know.
door?
I have to imagine, knowing what we know about Jim Irsay, that it wasn't just the shitting for 15 minutes, that there was probably a night of just him being an absolute lunatic buffoon, and Josh McDaniels' wife, or probably Josh, going like, we've made a major mistake. This guy has been explosive diarrheaing in our bathroom for 15 minutes after 2 hours of blowing yay off your tits. We need to get the fuck out of this contract. Robert, I need you to pull some strings.
Yeah.
The plane's
Please
leaving
get
in
me
30.
back.
Meet me there.
And
Jim Irsay, Simplest Minds of the Week. We could do it every single week. We could have a story about Jim Irsay.
Have you ever
Simplest Minds of the
shit in someone's bathroom that you really didn't know for over 15 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Just someone you just met.
Well, it wasn't as intimate. It was like a party. Like, I've done it in multiple parties.
Really? Someone's
Yeah.
house you don't even know. You just
No,
sit
yeah,
in
I
there?
find like a basement, or I sneak my way upstairs.
Or stoop.
I mean, you gotta go. You gotta go. What are you gonna do?
Wow. All right.
I can't. Yeah,
Tip of the cap to you. Good for you.
I feel you, Jim. This has been the Simple Minds Sports Show, Friday Rewind, January 20th. Thank you, top right corner. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
I might never get the date wrong again.
You're welcome. No, who's the
Quick
guy?
subtraction and boom there.
No, addition.
Yeah, you tomato, right?
I got something troubling on my mind. I got something.
I think you should start you know how you can say where you've been? Like, you have those little maps that you can say, hey, I've been here. How many places have you shit?
Every place I've ever been in.
Like, when I go on trips like that, I can't shit. It's like my butthole puckers up and I'm just back.
you get the traveling
Oh yeah.
The traveling no shits. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had that last time.
And
That was
then-
Oh,
terrible.
no.
Mm,
I open up. I gaping. Wait, so like we
better words than gaping.
you know played in we played in some bands and like performed and stuff. So we'd go, especially when we were in DC, we'd play some fucking dives. And this is really common. This isn't just a me thing, but like, you get nervous. So you have to take the nervous shit. Some of the places I've shit in that we've played, these dive bars. Whoa. It's rough. It's
You
rough.
give them money back after they give you money. They're like, "Here you go for that. You for the show," and you're like, "No, you need this for the thing I just did into your bathroom. I'm sorry."
No, I've done some manual cleanup before, but I've never given money back.
Manual cleanup.
I'm sorry. What do you want from me? I got a mild case of IBS, I think. It is what it is.
Would you put like an out order sign in there? Just be like, "I'm sorry. That was my fault. That was me."
Just
A mild case.
You're out of paper towels.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to see.
Also,
if we
your
could
trash
try and
should go
induce this
immediately.
during the show. We could just try and get you anxious.
I shit before this show almost every time.
And you get angry shits too. You get when you get mad, you get shitty. You
Mhm.
got the poop.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
get something wrong with you.
I can poop right now.
You can poop on command.
I mean, not on command necessarily. It's just like it's always there.
Really?
I'm always holding it back.
Oh, what kind of doctor is that we have to talk to?
Proctologist.
Perfect. That's what I'm gonna look for. I'm gonna Google that.
I was gonna say
afterwards.
butt doctor,
I'm not Googling
butt
that.
doctor,
I'm not Googling
MD
that.
Irene Langevin.
Troubling on my mind. I got something floating side of side. I got something on my mind.
Marty! You've got to come back with me! Where? Back to the future!
Well, hello there.
Ah, shit.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. Dang.
Got caught up watching this game.
Oh, that's
Also-
perfect. I can watch the screen and see it.
Don't pull a bill though, because you have to pay attention. Your bill just right out the window.
Oh, Ray, are you sassy?
Bad mood?
No. You need to fix your fucking mic though. You sound like shit.
Oh, do I?
Nope.
You fucking sound like shit.
It's my everyday voice, baby. You know that. Come on.
Sounds like a cunt. Anything else to report?
Oh, can you tell me if that was you or your daughter who farted in that video?
Nope, cannot disclose that information on that subject. Anything else?
There was a fart.
It's always a fart.
Yeah, it's a great guessing game because you don't know who did it.
It's always a fart. It's always a fart. That'll be our next podcast. It's always a fart.
It's not a bad name.
Endless possibilities on that one.
Yep. Yep. Speaking of endless possibilities, what do you say we start the show? The Superman Sports Show, latest and greatest in New England sports. Opening